Hello and welcome to the show today. I'm your host, Pamela Miles. I'm a life midwife and a beauty guide with Lyme Life by Alcone. My intention in every show that I do is to bring you inspiring topics, resources, and people that can inspire you, encourage you to find your passion and purpose in life. Today, my guest is Robin Fox. And I'm thrilled to invite her to come on the show and share with you her experience as an educator and a creative entrepreneur. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Pamela. So nice to see you.
So great to have you here. I know my audience is going to be really, really thrilled to hear what you've discovered sort of in a full range of your career. You've done so many things. Can you just give us a little snapshot of what it is that you are currently doing and how you got there?
Yes, I always felt like a little out of place as a child. I had some trauma happen to me when I was very young, lost a parent, and just a few different things happened that were really rough. And I always felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like an outsider. However, I have a very lively personality, and I'm an actor, so I felt like, oh, I could fake it, and but it never really went deep enough, and I always felt like I didn't belong. And I ended up getting a degree in psychology and special education, and I it was at the end of my career that I really had this amazing, amazing experience where my the aspects of my life came together, and the inspiration was so powerful to begin to share what came from that inspiration and the past 7 years of research, in classrooms and sharing this experience and training people how to help kids feel like they belong, and how to have them be self-referential and sovereign so that they always carry that with them. They have a portable sense of their worth, and that they can let their own self be in play, playfully, mindfully, and with great care in this world.
That
That
sounds
sounds
amazing.
amazing.
I know
I know
there's a
there's a
lot of
lot of
people out there, whether they're educators or parents, that could benefit from what you're talking about. And that's why I wanted to bring you on the show today. I wanted to talk about, so you were a special ed teacher. How many years were you working in the public school system?
37 years.
Wow, that's amazing. So you really touched a lot of people's lives, the other educators that you worked with, the administration, the students, the parents of the students, the children's siblings, I imagine.
Yes, and they allowed me into their lives, and the rewards that I got from paying attention to, I ended up having kids who had pretty intense challenges, and sometimes I'd be with a student who was really out of control, and I'd be in the room with that student, and I just would breathe and hold space for them, and let them know that it was okay to be to feel whatever they were feeling. It was okay, and that usually ends up being the the trigger point for communion with another person, and so that really informed me that uh, the most effective way that a teacher can be in this in his or her profession is to create a sense of belonging for all kids like that. And that's really what my program does. And here's the kicker. We teach kids to be socially and emotionally aware and awake and conscious, and all the teachers benefit too. We all grow. We all, it doesn't happen unless it's really alive and really present. And when we're in the present moment, when we get to share our experiences and be there together in the present moment. That's where love is. That's where all the goods are. And so I'm so excited that I was able to combine the mindfulness and of different exercises that I've adapted, and the um, cognitive awareness. Again, a lot of it's from cognitive behavioral therapy, but a lot of things are just because, it worked with kids. Think about it like this, and be aware of your thoughts. And then the mindfulness really helps each person become the observer. And when you're the observer of your emotions and your thoughts, instead of I am angry, it's I feel anger. So you separate it a little, and that helps you to uh, allow it to happen and not be so freaked out about it, whatever's going on with you, whatever you're feeling. And then the playfulness of improv is just so magical. I feel like it was the way that I learned that I wasn't connecting with people, and how to connect with people, and how to really, be in a joyous, playful place with other people when we're with them.
So you just brought up improv, which we hadn't gotten a chance to discuss. So can you tell me a little bit about that? You did mention that you have been an actor. Is improv your sort of area of expertise as an actor?
Yes, exactly. So improv, as we know it, was started by Viola Spolin, who came up with all these amazing exercises for being present and aware of yourself, and you're aware of your environment. And over the years, people like me have adapted her work into a applied use. So there are people using improv in corporations to help people be more present and connected, in the medical field. I mean, any field, lawyers, it just helps everyone to be flexible, resilient, connect, be playful, be mindful. And I studied with Ira Sokolsky for about 5 years. He was this very generous, talented actor and recording studio owner. And Ira he moved here from New York and decided that he needed people to work out with, to do improv with. So he just opened it up to people, and there were maybe 10 to 15 of us at any time in his classes, and he offered them once a week. So I just was in this incredible program where I learned to be present and yes, and to connect with an audience, which is really to connect with others. When you connect with an audience, you are aware that they are you. You are them. They are humans just like you, and we're all the same. So we don't have to be afraid of putting ourselves out there and being vulnerable and open and wholehearted.
That sounds amazing. And so fortunate that you were able to come across a mentor, a teacher like that. I imagine also in the experience of being an educator and being in front of an audience of your students, you also must have learned some tools and techniques to allow your students to feel that they were at times on stage, or they were within the classroom, right? Like teaching them how to present themselves, how to articulate, how to clearly express themselves. That was probably all, happening in your 37 years, sort of organically, right? I mean, as a teacher, don't you feel like you gained so much experience from yourself being present as a teacher, and then you see what students are lacking and what they need, whether it's special education or any classroom? Is that correct, that you feel like you did that in your classroom?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And the tuning in that you do as a teacher, because it's changing all the time. There's so many energy and so many energies in your room, so many kids with different needs, and you are charged with delivering these curriculum that uh, not everyone is ready to receive. And the thing that has been missing from education is the social emotional piece. When we are socially and emotionally at peace, let's say, then we can learn, we can grow, we can be in groups. We don't have, to learn how to be in groups is so important in life. And very few teachers have the tools given to them because you need to get the tools to help kids learn how to be a successful group member. And that's part of my program as well. And we do it playfully. So, if you're part of a group that's creating something really fun, there's a whole different dynamic to it than if you're creating in a group where you feel like, oh, this is drudge work. So when you can experience connecting with people in a group and being patient and being flexible, your idea might not be the one that everybody goes with. And as you play with these things, they become part of you. You open up new neural pathways to accept ways of being with people, and that you're changing your habits, because we have so many embedded habits that we're not even aware of that take us away from our happiness, that take us away from connecting. And one of the big parts of my program is to become really aware of the thoughts that are going by, and are they serving you? Are they true? Are they helping you achieve what you want? And realizing that you can change your thoughts. You can choose to think differently. Now, you can't do that if you're in the middle of a wild emotion. So that's the other thing, is dealing with your emotions and learning techniques. And my favorite technique that I've adapted, all of the things that I bring to the table, I have tried and I've changed and I've worked out with kids and with teachers. And that's what makes this program, so easily implementable, because it's been tried, and a lot of people have given me feedback, which I've incorporated into the final product, which is never final. It will keep, growing. But the one technique that I really love to share is called Flip the Mood. And flip is the letters stand for feel it, label it, it is what it is, and plan. So let's say you're feeling a really strong emotion and you are just, you've kind of flipped your rational mind into a tirade of thoughts about this emotion. The first thing to do is to let yourself feel it. A lot of times we resist it. We don't want to. I don't want to feel anger. I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to feel disappointed. I don't want to feel abandoned, because those feelings don't feel good. However, when you understand that you're not getting rid of those feelings by ignoring them, then you can let yourself, you can allow yourself to feel them, because you know that by feeling them, you can move through them. So just, feel it, feel it. It's in your body, feel it, and then label it. So you first want to feel it. Where is it in my body? Because sometimes it manifests in different people in different ways. Like I get headaches. I get like this, my head kind of shuts down. Other people get it in their stomach, or some people in their chest. And so feel where it is and just recognize that it's in your body. And then label it, name it. Daniel Siegel says, name it to tame it, and I say, name it to know it. So it's shame, or it's sadness, or it's anger. So you name it, and all of a sudden your brain now takes it from the reactive to the executive functioning part of your brain that can deal with a thought. And then the third letter, it is what it is. Life, sometimes you have to feel something that you don't want to feel. So the P is plan. What can you do to give yourself some relief? So maybe it's take a walk, go swimming, ride a bike, listen to music, call a friend. So I'd like to offer these practical techniques because that really makes a difference to people.
Boy, what you just described sounds like something that everyone could use, like every human being. It's a technique that is, and I imagine, like, age-wise, there's ways to communicate about it, so that if you're teaching a 5-year-old how to do that, it's different than teaching an adult or a lawyer or, some corporate environment, right? So currently your focus is on working with teachers that then teach this to students. Is that correct?
I'm actually working as a consultant and teacher and trainer and co-worker in Old Saybrook Public Schools. So we have when we were in session, and even now because we do online groups, we have about 5 or 6 groups of kids, grades 2nd through 8th. I've done this also with high school kids, with college kids. I haven't gone much younger than 2nd grade, only because of the cognitive aspects of the program and understanding the intricacies of separating yourself in, taking perspective and being aware that other people have thoughts and feelings and ideas different than you have, which is theory of mind. And there's a lot of cognitive nuances that really go well from 2nd grade on. Although, I mean, really, little younger kids love to play the games, and I have a good time playing it with younger kids as well, playing the games and exercises.
Do you find there's a difference between the way that girls and boys would perceive this exercise? I bring that up because I know that there's a lot of work that's been done on the fact that young girls, and it usually is around 8, 9 to 11, they stop raising their hand, they stop participating, they are very aware of what others think of them. And they may not be as interested in playfulness. They want to be accepted. They want to be, known as the person who goes along with others. And they may be more shy in a way to participate in something that would bring out feelings. So what do you think about that? Have you seen that?
Yes, that is so true. And the idea that girls start kind of stuffing down their power, so to speak, is very upsetting. The great thing about this program and we always start in circles, conversation circles. And so everyone is equal in a circle. Everyone has a say in a circle, and everybody can be seen in a circle. We never make anyone play. Pass is always, always an option. And before too long, because it's fun, when you see people having fun and being playful, it takes the pressure off. You are more likely to abandon your fears when there's something fun going on. So that is definitely a bonus. And also the rules of improv that we emphasize have to do with being willing to take a risk, because we have each other's back. We take care of each other in group. And that creates this psychologically and an emotional and culturally safe place to be yourself. And the whole focus of the program is to be yourself. As Oscar Wilde said, everybody else is taken. Be yourself, take a risk, take a chance of being your vulnerable, and maybe quirky self. Because there's nobody else like you. We want to know you. We want to know your specialness. We want to know your uniqueness. And that's why I've had such the good fortune of working with so many kids on the spectrum, because while they, there's, oh my gosh, so much I could say about this. But I have so many friends on the spectrum who are quirky, but I'm pretty quirky too. And I like the quirkiness about me. And it's taken me a while to be okay with that. And I really love guiding my students on the spectrum, and all students, because it really is everyone, to really let their own uniqueness be in their world, in their presentation of themselves, in their connections with other people. And then it gives people a real chance to step in and be part of the conversation too.
Wow, you're saying so many things, and I know we have limited time here in this interview, but I just wanted to. One thing I'm really curious about is, do you practice some kind of daily ritual to be able to ground yourself so that you can then go forward and interact with people of all types and share this, really this gift that you're bringing to them about a way of perhaps behaving with each other in groups?
Yes, I do. I spend about 20 minutes every morning just getting quiet and following my breath. Whenever I have a thought, I bring it back to my breathing. And some days it's harder than others, but it really does help me to remember that I'm not my thoughts. Because when you are sitting purposefully and guiding your attention to your breath, and the breath is so magical. Oh my gosh. The breath is the first thing that comes into our bodies, and is the signal that we're alive and we're present in this world. And I've always found my breath to be a very, very reliable ally, whether it is consciously breathing when an emotionally charged situation starts happening. And I teach that to kids. It's called slow breath practice, where instead of like reacting right away, I have kids just, okay, remember to breathe. Let somebody else talk. Just breathe. And then see what comes out of you, because it's very different than if you just react. And I also teach kids how to do something called breathing fingers, where, because kids need to have a way to ground themselves as they do a mindfulness technique. And basically they breathe in for 4, hold it for 2, and out for 5, because slowing the breath down on the outtake signals your parasympathetic nervous system that everything's okay. And we want to give that signal to our body. The next breath, they move to their middle finger. Same thing. Breathe in, hold it, and breathe out for 5. And they switch it to their ring finger, and then their pinky finger. And then we do it one more time. So we do 8 breaths. And recently, I've been asking kids to lead this. And it's been so great, because I don't make kids do this. I request. Let me, hold your hands up so we can all see you do the breathing fingers. But this past week, I had one of my, I just said, why am I doing this? Why don't I let the kids do it? Let them lead. And it was so cool because the boy who led, said to another kid, hey, I need to see your hands. And I was like, oh, okay. And they all did it. Oh my God, student-led anything is the best, because they really trust their peers, and it's wonderful. So I do that, and I do yoga a couple of times a week. So anyway, that was a long answer.
I thought you might have some personal practices, and and I'm sure these are things that you also encourage any of the other educators that you're in consulting with, or any of the other adults, that they find their own personal practices to be able to do this work. You need to feel okay being yourself, your unique self, your quirky self, as you say.
And when they do these exercises with kids, so my curriculum is coming out in July, and it's all really easy to use, because I always felt like, oh, another program. Oh God, I have to learn it. I have to spend 10 hours, whatever. And they can if they want. Or each of the exercises and games and exercises, said that twice, but that's okay. Perfectly imperfect. That's another thing I love, love, love. And I thought a long time about that term and decided it was perfectly imperfect. And so whenever I make a mistake, and one of the things in improv we do is we go, ta-da, when we make a mistake, and celebrate it. So that's another underlying layer that's amazing. But so each of the exercises has a script and it says, say this. So they say it. So they could actually just say, okay, they could look and say, I want to teach my kids flexibility of thought. So I have all the exercises and games that teach that, and they just go to that page. They read the script and they do it with the kids. It's not didactic. It's not top down. Everything is done together. So when you're doing it with the kids, you're either side coaching, so you're part of it, or you're actually in it, and it's so fun. And it becomes a very easy way for everybody to grow, because we're all focused on the same ways of being present and expression and having fun. And I've adopted a lot of the games so that they are therapeutic. Actually, it's all therapeutic, but I've even made it more therapeutic by all the follow-up questions that teachers can ask. And let's say it's a game called beginning, middle, end. So in this game, 3 people get up and they tell a story in 3 sentences. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it seems like, okay, that's easy. What's the big deal? Well, then you have them tell about a movie they saw or something they did in, on a vacation, or something they're learning. Just tell me the 3 most important things about it: beginning, middle, and end. Now we're starting to focus and align our thoughts with what's the most important parts of this. And also it becomes a way of tuning in. Like right now, I'm totally not doing the cognitive exercise that goes with that game is called 1, 2, 3, done. Anything you want to say it in 3 sentences, and then give other people time to talk. Check in. Are they interested? Do they want more? But 1, 2, 3, done is a way that we all can be in company. And unless we're explaining something in detail, people don't really want to hear more than 3 sentences from you. And because we all want to be, we all are want to be part of it. And especially my students who are socially challenged sometimes have trouble stopping. So knowing that they can say things in 3 sentences helps them to organize their thoughts around being social.
Well, there are a lot of Zoom meeting rooms right now that I think could use that tool and that technique. And I really applaud you for bringing that up and bringing that forward, because we all want to be seen and heard. And it's a great tool and a technique to use. So thank you for sharing that with us today. I know my audience members are going to be very interested in learning how to get a hold of you and to find out more about the curriculum and find out how they can also participate in anything that you might be, activities or ways that they can learn more. So as a little wrap up here, and I'm sorry we have to cut this short, it's just so fascinating and I'd love to hear more. So I definitely want to have a way for our audience members to know how can they get a hold of you. And your name of your company is so interesting, and I encourage you to spell out your website name.
Okay, for sure. It's Social Eyes. And social, obviously, is being together with other people. And I added the eyes in there because we really are looking to understand. We're looking on purpose, and we're listening on purpose, and we are acting on purpose. But it really takes us to use our senses to socialize. So it's a play on words. And my website is www.social-eyes.org. And you can find all of my social media on the bottom of the page. And I'm Robin at social-eyes.org. So shoot me an email. I answer every email myself, and I'm happy to interact and connect.
Thank you so much, Robin. Thank you, everyone, for joining in and watching. And any questions you have, please post them in the Facebook page today, or whenever you're watching this on the replay. We look forward to hearing from you, and we'll reply as soon as possible. Thank you again for sharing all of your wisdom with us today, Robin.
Thank you.